was very special actually. It was for internal discussion between the close discussion.
Yeah.
And the devotees couldn't understand, but it was very close with Giriraj
So,
Maharaj, he could understood it.
yeah, those who are really close, they will understand what Prabhupada meant. And we have injected our poison, and now it will act. Really acting, you know, very interesting. So this specifically this section, Mataji, you should probably open Veda base in another window and share this Bhagavatam 7, 5, 30 and this 31. Those three shlokas are there, no? Matirna Krishna Paratosvatova. Actually, Maharaj is putting that. And then 7, 5, 30 and 31. These verses actually Prabhupada loved so much, really, you know. And many places he has quoted. In fact, this Nate Vidu Swatagatim Hi Vishnu, that shloka is the most quoted shloka in Bhagavad. This is his most quoted shloka actually. The first one is Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova, 7530. And then the next one is Nate Vidu Swatagatim Vishnu, 7531. So let's recite that verse and then read this part. It'll be really nice. Can you open up another window for Veda-based Mataji? I think you are the one who is sharing,
I've
right?
opened it. I've already opened
We
it.
are not
Prabhu.
seeing it. I think you might have shared only this window. You may
How
have
to
to
share?
unshare and share again.
Acha, okay. How able to do that sharing part?
Share the entire window.
Can you see now?
This is now coming. Yeah. Who wants to sing it?
Can I, Prabhuji?
Definitely, Mataji, please go ahead.
श्रीप्रह्लाद उवाच मतिर्न कृष्णे परतस्वतो वा मिथो विपद्येत गृहव्रतानाम् अदान्तगोभिर्विशतां तमिश्रं पुनः पुनश्चर्वितचर्वनानाम्.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So, can we read the now the translation and purport is from Bhagavatam directly. So we can go back to the book and read from there. You can read, Mataji. From the you can go to that other window that you can PDF. Yes, Mataji, please read. Anyone can read. If Mataji can read the translation, then purport someone can read. Or no, Vijay Mataji, you only read for some time because we are reading some 1 or 2 pages for each person. No, so you read continue translation and
This
purport.
perfect you want me to read, Prabhuji?
From
Or
the
from
book,
the details
no,
of-
from the screen, you can read the text. That translation and purport of Prabhupada's from Bhagavatam only, Viraj Maharaj is quoted in.
Okay,
Please.
okay, Prabhuji. Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclination towards Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by the combination of both. Purport. In this verse, the words Matirna Krishna refers to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purposes. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting their materially. For them, constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is impossible. Matirna Krishne, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only through devotional service can one understand Krishna as he is. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya paharata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadau na vidiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Those who are attached to the material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. They cannot understand Bhagavan, Krishna, or his instructions, Bhagavad Gita, as confirmed by Rishabdev. Mahatsevam Dwaram Ahur Vaikunte. One must try to understand Krishna by serving a devotee. The word Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahat manastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadimavyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as a supreme personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Gita 9.13. Unless one is properly trained by a Mahat, a Mahatma, or unalloyed devotee of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and his devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30. And persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Krishna. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and follow into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Srimad Bhagavatam
This is
7.5.31.
This is the next verse, Mataji. Maybe Chitra Mataji, you can open the next one. Nate Viduhu Swartagatim Vishnu. That also you can read. You can recite that.
न ते विदुस्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णुं दुराशया ये बहिरर्थमानिना अन्धायतान्दैरुपनीयमानास्तेऽपि सतन्त्र्याम् उरुदां निबद्ध.
You can read the purport, Mataji.
Yes. As stated in the purport, gurus, teachers who are simply interested in this material world are described in this verse as andha, blind. Such blind men may lead many other blind followers without true knowledge of material conditions, but they are not accepted by devotees like Prahalad Maharaj. Such blind teachers, being interested in the external material world, are always bound by the strong ropes of material nature. We saw how applicable that reading was to what we had just witnessed. So-called scholars and politicians unable to do any good for anyone because they themselves are blind. They themselves were blind. And then the following verse was also applicable that unless you smear your body with the dust of the feet of the devotee, you cannot be engaged in devotional service, not by your speculation, by the instruction of others, or by the joint efforts in big conferences.
So the beauty here is actually this is the third verse, 7.532. Maybe you can open that also and read that translation. This is the last of the three verses spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to Hiranyakashipu, after which he became really mad. Please recite this also and the translation. No?
नैषां मतिस्तावदरुक्रमाङ्घ्रिं स्पृशादनर्थापगमो यदर्था महीयशां पादरजोऽभिषेकं निष्किञ्चनानां न वृणीत यावत्.
Translation.
Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from the material contamination.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now, these three shlokas are like gem of the shloka, gem of verses. Actually, there is a very, very beautiful lecture or discussion where between Prabhupada and George Harrison, that Allen Ginsberg, and them in Bhaktivedanta manner. There, Prabhupada beautifully sings these three shlokas and explains to them how nicely he was singing. You know, very, very lovingly he will sing. And Prabhupada took a lot of courage and inspiration from Prahlad Maharaj's life history and also his teachings. That's why many times he will quote the slokas that gave him inspiration, that Naivoduje Paradurate Vaitaranya, then that Prayana Deva Muneha Savi Muktikama. Those are the prayers, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Those he would quote very frequently as a main inspiration behind him taking to preaching all over the world. So Prabhupada is quoting these shlokas right here, and it's so beautiful really how it is intertwined with the situation, because as Maharaj rightly explains here, we saw how applicable the reading was to what we had just witnessed. This is the beauty of Acharya. Any situation, immediately he relates it to the teachings in instructions from Bhagavatam, right? And then he's saying that you can do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, unless you smear upon your body the dust from the lotus feet of your Vaishnavas, whatever you are trying to achieve, you will not get the success from it. So they are all doing different speculations, and Prabhupada, because he is confident, because he has taken the dust of the lotus feet of his spiritual master and all the pure devotees, he is very confident that things will be, quite nicely and it. I was just yes, Prabhu. Yes, Suresh Prabhu.
I would request that you please elaborate on the dust of lotus feet. Is it literal meaning or it is something else? Please, can you elaborate on it, Prabhu, for us?
It's both, Prabhu. Actually, it is actually three things, no? Chaitanya Charitamrita highlights on this point that Bhakta Pada Dala, Bhakta Pada Jala, Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh. These three things are very, very favorable to our advancement of progress in devotional service, because this Bhakta Pada Jala means the water that has washed the lotus feet of the pure devotee. Pada Dhuli is the lotus feet, the dust from their lotus feet. And Bhukta Avashesh means the Mahaprasad that they have left, the remnants of the Mahaprasad that they have left after their honoring the Prasad. These three things. Actually, that Bhukta Avashesh is not only Mahaprasadam that is taken from that plate, but anything that they had used. For example, they would have used some kurtas, or there some pen, or some notebooks, or so many different things are there. Those are all Avashesh. And also dust from the lotus feet is not just the dust alone. It is definitely there. In fact, many times when you are traveling to the dhams and all, it is not only to take darshan of the Lord, but also to take the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotees who have, for many thousands and thousands of years, they have traveled all over, and that place has been purified by the dust, by their uh, moving about, wandering there. So, dust of the lotus feet actually means following them. Taking the dust of the lotus feet means unless you follow them, you cannot take the dust. Correct? You have to walk behind them to take the dust. Otherwise, how will you take the dust? So, the same way, we have to follow anuchara. We have to follow what they are doing. We have to follow their instructions. Basically, that's what it means about taking the dust of the lotus feet. Otherwise, everybody will be saying, "Oh, you people got the dust of the lotus feet of your devotees, but we couldn't. You are lucky, we are not." That doesn't make any difference. If you are really insincere, it's all there. There are so many times devotees hardly had any darshan of Prabhupada also, but the way they took to devotional service, um, amazing, amazing how they could do it. It's a faith that matters. There will be some who can spear upon their body. They will roll on the ground also. They will drench their body with abhishek. Now, actually, that is what a person is supposed to do. But then you may do it. But in spite of doing all these things, if you are not sincere enough, if our heart is not sincere enough, then there is no point. There's nothing can help us. So that's a beautiful point which is revealed time and again in the various pastimes, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, etc. I hope that helps. So most
Yes, Prabhu,
important
thank
is
you.
that instead of following the instruction, basically, that is what is actually taking the dust of the lotus feet. Prabhupada himself did not meet his spiritual master so much. Hardly he met. How many times you have got the chance to put it to do that? But we should, whenever there is a chance, we can always do it. But at the same time, we should not think that literally that this is the only thing. Otherwise, I'm doomed, I'm unlucky, etc., etc. No, so nice, really. Prabhupada is revealing us many things. Okay, now comes a very interesting part. Anybody else wants to take over from Vijay Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji. Long time since we heard him. Some of the conference, yeah.
Some of the conference participants were on the flight with us from Nagpur to Bombay. I was sitting behind Prabhupada and across the aisle from Ramakrishna Bajaj. Innocently but foolishly, I told Mr. Bajaj what Prabhupada had said about injecting our poison. Hearing me, Prabhupada turned and glared at me as if to say, "You weren't supposed to tell that to him."
You understood that?
So that is something between us. It should not be told to others. Is it
Yeah,
just-
Bajaj. Bajaj he's the host, isn't it? He is he's like a neutral person. He will not understand our code words, right? So you might be thinking that, see, for him everybody is saint, right? So if what Prabhupada says, if that is taken in a literal sense, then he may think that Prabhupada is more of is discriminating between the others and him. That was not his main thing. So,
Prabhuji,
hmm.
it shows innocence of Guru Giriraj Maharaj. Prabhu.
Yeah, but he says innocently but foolishly, right? Because we should also not take too much uh, concession by saying that I am innocent, I am innocent. So Maharaj is actually calling himself to be more honest, saying but foolishly. Because we may say I am innocent, but actually it also includes a bit of foolishness. Now in our cases, I'm saying, because what is that? There's a beautiful statement that is what Mahavishnu Maharaj had written in his diary. One who tries to protest his innocence too violently is often found guilty. Protect. One who tries to protect his or protest or convince others about his innocence too violently is often found guilty. So a really real innocent person will not tell that I'm innocent again and again.
Mhm.
If he's telling that too many 50 times, it means that he's not. It's a very subtle and deep statement. Because we always like when somebody calls us innocent, isn't it? Or we hide our mistakes by this word. Oh, I just did it innocently. It was not. It was not. Um, it was inadvertently done. It was not. No, I did not do it wantedly, and like that we say. Those things are. Innocent person will not mind even if he is punished for something which he has not committed, some mistake he has not committed. So very deep it is. No. Nice, Prabhu. Thank you. So yeah, let's continue.
Would be quite forceful when he preached and was sometimes blunt in private. Prabhupada
Sorry,
was
Mataji,
otherwise most
you are
tactful.
reading? Okay, sorry.
Yes,
I thought you were asking something.
yes.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Although he could be quite forceful when he preached and was sometimes blunt in private, Prabhupada was otherwise most tactful and polite. He argued on philosophical principles in debates, but he was always cordial in personal dealings. And because Prabhupada was so genuine, Mr. Bajaj became friendly even after Prabhupada had taken such a strong position, and later he gave quite a large donation to one farm projects. And out of
Very
respect
bold.
for Prabhupada,
See how nice it is.
yeah,
Yes, Mataji, please continue.
and out, and out of respect for Prabhupada, he held the next Gita conference at the Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan during Prabhupada's last days. Despite their philosophical differences, Swami felt blessed by Prabhupada's affection and Krishna consciousness. Some years later, he met with Radhanath Swami about Prabhupada.
Very nice.
As we
Very
sat close, mm, as we sat close, Radhanath Swami later remembered, he told me of his deep appreciation and respect for Srila Prabhupada and the wonderful things he had done to spread bhakti throughout the world. Then, with great enthusiasm, he asked me to tell him Prabhupada's life story. So I told him about Prabhupada's first meeting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, how Prabhupada's friend Narendranath Malik insisted that he visit this great sadhu and took him to the Gaudiya Mutt in Calcutta. And they went upstairs to the rooftop where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was speaking to a group of people. And almost immediately, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gave him a lifelong instruction. You intelligent young man, you should take the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu throughout the world in the English language.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Uh, recently, I was in Calcutta,
I
Prabhu.
was going to ask you. I was going to ask you. You
Uh,
stayed for a long time in Newtown, na? You are the person next. Please, Prabhu, share your experience, please.
yeah. So this place where this incident took place was
Hmm.
literally was rebels. It was just a waste of the place that nobody was unattended and that plot was lying so in a worst condition.
Hmm.
Someone the Harinam Parikrama during Parikrama, someone discovered that this is the place where the first time our Prabhupada met his Guru Maharaj.
Hmm.
Then they started working on it and they found the owner and then they purchased it. And from such a worst place to today, they made an antique piece, Prabhu. Every
Hmm.
small corner of the building is made such a very attractive and as if it reborn that place again. And all the foreigners, foreign devotees, they said it is a time machine that is turned back like that. So wonderfully, and every devotee must visit that place. And they made such arrangement that everybody should have a wonderful feel of that first meeting of Prabhupada with his Guru Maharaj. So I had visited twice that place, and I had a wonderful realization with that place.
Super, Prabhu. Super. That place is as equally glorious as the Radha Damodar temple room, Prabhupada's room, you know. This is no different from that, because the entire, if we all have to owe our gratitude and allegiance to one place, and that is that place, right? Where the meeting happened. Just like I think in Ramakeli, the meeting between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, the brothers happened, no? No, not
Yeah,
Rupa, no, not Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami and Anupam, Anupama Malik, right? Sanatana Goswami, yeah, I think they
Sanatana
are
and
the
Anup.
that was in Prayag, I think. Always get confused between these two meetings. So yeah, it is like that. When great personalities meet, they were actually it was arranged by Krishna personally that they should meet. It's a how should I say, the date, the time, the place, everything is already planned by Krishna. And in one sense, yes, it is all of our meetings are arranged by Krishna, of course. We all come as arranged by Krishna only. But special meetings like these are 100% taken care by Krishna personally, and he ensures that it is glorified. That's why, as Prabhu said, Suresh Prabhu said, even after so many years, this place was, rebuilt and renovated, and it is so nicely done. And same thing with the New York that matchless gift, that 26 Second Avenue, and that tree, that elm tree under which Prabhupada, oak tree or elm tree under which Prabhupada did the Hare Krishna chanting, the famous chanting in New York. All these are, places which are glorified. You see how when the pure devotee is glorified, everything connected to him is also getting glorified, right? Like Haridas Thakur was there under that Siddha Bakula tree. He didn't intend to sit under that tree. That tree was actually planted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Bakula stick was planted. It was Jagannath's toothbrush. Essentially. So it was planted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it grew into that huge tree. And then those nice pastimes are there. And today you see thousands of people come there, and they come there, sit there and do some bhajan, chanting, sadhana. They take blessings from there. So we have to be very mindful of this thing. Like same way, the tree under which Prabhupada, there's a tree under which Prabhupada chanted, that also has become glorified. They put that plate that governor had came and inaugurated in that thing, saying, this is the tree under which Bhaktivedanta Swami did the Hare Krishna mantra, and later started the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So all those things are happening, and Prabhupada and all our acharyas are engaging in a tiny way in the spreading of this movement. If after many years, people will be really appreciative of the fact that so many of us have given our time, energy, and shed our sweat and blood. So many acharyas have done that, and we have also tried our best. Hmm? And you see, when such a huge programs or yatras or some function festivals are all happening, it is all being recorded for future glorification. All of these things are recorded for future glorification. That is why this book, when we read this, so as Radhanath Maharaj would have spent some time, very brief time with Chidananda Swami, and he is sharing that to Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj is sharing with us. How sweet this is. No? This is how purity always has its value and longevity. that we have to be very, very convinced about. We don't have to doubt, oh, who will notice this, what am I going to do? Pure devotees, they don't have this thought even in the cornermost part of their hearts that I am doing this, who will read it, or who will, what is the purpose, etc., etc. They will never do it. They will never be worried about it. That these things will go with it. That's not their primary aim. Their aim is to do devotional service. Our Suresh Prabhu was telling how Anjan Prabhu, who is also in this call, he was also there in the yatra, isn't it, Prabhu? Suresh Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah.
You were telling
Yes,
that
Prabhu.
he just came and in the yatra and he asked, Prabhu, I want to do some seva. And everybody was busy with other seva, so he was doing the directing everybody to different places. You please go here, we'll go here, welcoming people to the prasadam hall. So if you want, there is always so many sevas out there. Anything you can take and do, and in the end, you will feel very satisfied, right? So this is such a sweet thing that Param Pujya Radhanath Maharaj had actually shared about Prabhupada to Chidananda Swami, and Chidananda Swami himself also remembered this, and he has so fond thing. This is how great personalities, they don't get upset about being they are talking about their philosophy. They are more gentle about it. While philosophically, as Maharaj himself says this, while philosophically he may be very forceful, but he was always cordial with people. That is how
Mm.
we have to. That's very, very important. Otherwise, we identify the person with the whatever philosophy or this and that. So that's why maturity plays a big role. Very nice. Thank you for that, Prabhu. We'll continue. Yes,
Bhakti
Mataji, please
Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada also, Prabhuji. See, they're all highly elevated, pure. So he just in the very first meeting, he could see through what Prabhupada could do for this world.
Yeah, definitely. And that is how,
Yeah.
regarding acharyas, we should actually understand. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami came to meet him through all the hidden escaping from the prison and all that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he is coming, right? So when he was sitting on the outside this thing, Chaitanya Prabhu told, who is that? I think it's Tapan Mishra or Chandrasekhar Acharya, one of them. He told them, you please go and find out if anybody is there, if a devotee is there. And he came back and he said, no, there is no devotee there. He said, go back and find out. Anybody is there, you bring him. Then he said, okay, one Muslim person is there, he said. Because he was full of all beard and everything. So he said, no, you call him inside. And then he was fully infested with all this pus thing and all that. And Chaitanya Prabhu went and hugged him. And the same thing you see when Chaitanya Prabhu met Ramananda Rai in the Godavari banks, how they both were different platform.
కనిపిస్తలేదు.
Hari Prabhu?
No, Prabhu, sorry.
So the thing is, we have to understand something very interesting here. Their body is as per this world, but their interaction is not on this body level. You understand? It's on their spiritual, their Siddha Deha, if you want to call it. You understand? They don't identify themselves as somebody in this world when they are connecting. They will be connecting at that level, like when Ramananda Rai is what expansion of Vishaka, Lalita, Vishaka, I think, and Arjuna, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the mood of Radharani. So when they both met, they were not meeting as Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were meeting at as the eternal personalities from there, from that world. Right? So even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also one of the Manjaris, we know his eternal say, position. And Prabhupada also has his eternal Siddhadeha, his identity. So they will be connecting at that level. So this world is more to do with yeah, for our vision, because we cannot conceive of that world, easily. So, you're right. So he knew, he was waiting. Frankly speaking, he was waiting for Prabhupada. He knew they were coming. He was coming. So those things would not be revealed so much. When they are coming. In their heart, they know Krishna inspires them. Inspires them. Yes. Nice. Please continue reading.
Before I could speak another word, Siddhananda Saraswati, hearing you should take the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the whole world in the English language, became so emotional that he jumped out of his seat, stood up, and raised one of his arms in the air, and tears flooding his eyes, said that was not just an instruction, that was divine prophecy. He said it again. That was not just an instruction, that was divine prophecy. He did it. He actually did it. He spread Lord Chaitanya's teachings in the English language all over the world. He did it. Then he sat down and I spoke about Prabhupada for another 45 minutes, and he was in rapt attention, emotionally listening and appreciating.
Haribol. So sweet, no? When Maharaj is recalling these memories, it's always on a different level. Now, okay, a question. What's the difference between instruction and divine prophecy?
Hare Krishna
Divine.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Sanjan Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I thought prophecies is something that they will say that this will happen in the future. So that is prophecy. Instruction is for us to follow.
Instruction may or may not be followed sometimes. We may miss following the instruction. Right? They may, like our spiritual masters and acharyas, they give many instructions, but we tend to not follow all of them, right? Whereas divine prophecy is something which is already, it is bound to happen. In other words,
It's not
the
faith.
purity of Prabhupada is such that there is no way it cannot happen. It has to happen. That's the whole thing. So it may look like an instruction outside, but it is divine prophecy, means it is bound to happen. So whether something is an instruction, it stays only as an instruction or a divine prophecy, it depends on the extent to which the devotee takes it seriously and close to his heart, basically. When he takes that instruction close to his heart, it is divine prophecy. Already, and the Lord knows that, okay, he's taking seriously. In other words, in divine prophecy, Krishna's intervention is there. In other words, even if there is a situation where something makes that so many challenges due to which the instruction may not be followed for whatever reason, Krishna will intervene and make sure that it is completed, it is followed. It is made to take it to closure. Like this particular story which I was reading, the Juhu story itself, it's the best example that Nayar was giving so many problems. Krishna intervened, and he suddenly out of nowhere he just died after giving so many troubles. It was almost like Prabhupada decided to leave. If Krishna, you wanted to say only I'm fine. Then Krishna had to intervene. So when it comes to divine prophecy, Krishna intervenes many times. Even in Kurukshetra war, so many times Krishna's decision is that Pandava should win, Kaurava should lose, Dharma win, Adharma lose. But how many times there were interventions are hurdles to the fulfillment of the Krishna's desire, right? And but Krishna, every time he saved Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira, and all of them one by one. How many times he saved Arjuna? The Jayadratha story you take, or Karna fighting, or fighting against Bhishmadev, fighting against Dronacharya, and even after this thing, you had to what that in Dwaraka, you had to go and come back there also. So many places Krishna saved because divine prophecy. Divine prophecy also means Krishna's desire. Krishna desired it. There is no way it can be undone. It has to happen. There's no chance of it not happening. It may be delayed to our to our vision, but it will not be denied. It will happen definitely. Such a beautiful statement, no?
So Prabhuji, then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Prithvi Nagaradi Gram Hamara Naam Prachar Hoba, so that means that it will happen.
Yeah,
That
see,
every village
very
and
beautifully
town,
you brought it, Prabhu.
Krishna's name will be.
Yeah, you beautifully brought up this point, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing it. See, that is a divine prophecy again. Prithviche Achayati Nagaradi Grama actually means everywhere the prachar will go on, right? But whether that becomes a divine prophecy in our life, it is overall it's a divine prophecy, okay? In that it's a single thing. But then whether we are becoming part of the divine prophecy or not depends on how seriously we are taking it, right? Those who take it seriously, they will become part of the divine prophecy. Means we also played a part in the divine prophecy. But if we are not serious about it, we will just say, okay, it's an instruction, that's all. It will be part of something which was not followed. You see the difference? Prabhupada took that seriously, so he was part of the divine prophecy. See, you see, his old Jayapatak Maharaj and all, Gopal Krishna Maharaj also when he was till then, and Loknath Maharaj, Padanath Maharaj, and many of them, many of them. They go to every nook and corner, every town and village. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj also, many that down south and all, so many corners also they are all going and preaching. You see many sannyasis, many senior Vaishnavas also, not only sannyasis, many senior Vaishnavas, they go everywhere. I know in the US, there are devotees, couples, husband, wife, they just have a camper van, they go everywhere, they stay and they do preaching in corners, different corners. And they open centers in remote areas also. They are doing that, Prabhupada disciples. They are quite old, but still they are doing it. So this is how this one line, see how much is beautifully this is there. Thank you so much for that, Prabhu.
And Prabhuji, it was also predicted by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as well, right? In one of his articles he published.
About what?
About Srila Prabhupada's
No,
prophecy.
he did. Yeah, he said one Senapati Bhakta will come. That is also there.
Yeah.
And he also he said someone will come. 2-3 times I think he mentioned someone will come. Who
Shortly
will
he
take
will
this
come.
Yeah, and yeah, very nice incident is there. There is, I don't know if I told you this incident because this incident was shared by one of the devotees, Prabhupada disciples only. There is one Bhagavat Maharaj, and that Bhagavat Maharaj is actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's sannyasi disciple. Okay, Brahmachari and sannyasi disciple. And when he was a sannyasi, Prabhupada was a grahastha. He was as a grahastha, he was in Calcutta. Now, Prabhupada had their ground floor hall, whatever, and then they had upstairs some space where he would invite his god brothers and devotees and spend hours together talking to them about their Guru Maharaj's instructions, etc. So what happened? So I don't know. There's a flashback to it. I don't know which one to tell first. Anyway, I will first tell the actual start of the incident and then go to the flashback. So what happened after Prabhupada departed? I think in the 80s, maybe, one of the foreign devotees, he was distributing Back to Godhead magazine. Okay. And he was going in the streets distributing Back to Godhead magazine. And this Bhagavat Maharaj actually was quite old by then. So he just confronted this, was curious to see a white-bodied person there, a devotee there, and he said, "What are you selling?" And he said, "I am selling this Back to Godhead magazine." So he saw this and it had a Prabhupada's picture, a big picture in there, and he said, "Hey, this is Abhay Babu's picture." And he was saying, "What is this Abhay Babu? Maybe he's a very old friend, acquaintance of Prabhupada." Then he said, "Oh, you know where you are, can you tell us where you are and all that?" Then whatever, then by then the devotee took hold of Bhagavat Maharaj, and they were talking. He saw the picture and he kept crying and crying. So why this person is crying like anything? Then he told the story that when Abhay Babu, Abhay Charan, they used to be a Grahastha. I was a, I think, sannyasi that time. He was saying I was sannyasi. And we used to meet together. He will invite us and we'll spend some time together. And that time, they were reading this written by what Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be distributed to Prussia, Russia, etc., etc., etc. And one of the great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come in the future, whatever that exact wordings, I don't know, and he will do this distribution. So Bhagavat Maharaj was by that time Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also departed. So I mean after that only there were problems with the Gaudiya Math and all those things are happening. No, so by that time Prabhupada was still a Grahastha anyway. He had not gone to Vrindavan, living and taking one of his friends now. So at that time he was reading this. Bhagavat Maharaj was reading this to Prabhupada. Said, "How did Bhaktivinoda Thakur write this? I can't believe that this will happen. We are just a small few groups. We are also fighting internally so much. And how is it possible? How is it possible like that? I don't believe this at all." He was saying like this. Then Prabhupada was about to. He was walking down the stairs from the group, this thing where they were, and he turned and he looked at the long or the far distance, and he said, "Don't worry, Maharaj. Some fool surrendered to Bhaktivinoda Thakur will make this happen." And he stopped and he stepped 2 more steps he took, and he turned around again and said, "Not you." And then he went on further. So this is the incident that Bhagavat Maharaj actually shared with this devotee. That I was doubting Bhaktivinoda Thakur's words, but Bhakti Vedanta Swami, he had no doubt at all about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's words. He knew it would happen, and for all practical purposes, he would knew that was him only. Probably, I don't know. We don't know. He might have known that. So this is something which is very important to note, because when he told that, we have to have faith in our spiritual master's words. It's whether it is for us or someone else. It's at the end of the day, our acharyas, whatever they predicted, it will come to being, come into just the delay in its occurrence, in its manifestation, should not be a reason for us to lose faith in those words. If we are losing faith, then it means our devotion is very fragile. you know. So Prabhupada's devotion was so strong that even when nothing was there, even when there is not a slightest hint that this will grow into such a huge movement, at that time also Prabhupada believed it. At the time also he had faith and belief in Acharya's words. Very important to know. So this incident was shared by one of Prabhupada's disciples, J.S. Atmatattva Prabhu. He shared it so beautifully. So I just got reminded of it. And he talked about Bhakti and Acharyas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Yes,
may I
Prabhuji.
share something?
Yes,
Uh,
Prabhu, please.
Just now, as we were discussing about divine prophecy, and you give the explanation of this Prabhupada and Bhagavad Maharaj incident.
Hmm.
So I was letting in last Narad Muni class, some Mataji has asked that we are not that much sincere. In that reply, you have replied that we have not absorbed ourselves in the devotional service. That's why we are not able to practice. We are having some attraction to material side also, and this. So same thing I was relating, like Prabhupada has said that I will be alive in my book for next 10,000 years. But that is for those who are taking interest in Prabhupada book. Now, as we, like people like me who are not taking that much interest, so we will not be able to realize this thing that Prabhupada will be alive through his book for next 10,000 years. But those devotees like you and other senior devotees who are reading Prabhupada book so seriously and sincerely, they can find the presence, and that's why they are able to glorify the purport of Prabhupada, that these are the glorious purport given by Prabhupada. So it applies to us also, this divine prophecy.
Very true, Prabhu. Very true.
Very well, Prabhu.
Very true, because we all are blessed by Prabhupada's disciples. In fact, for that, we have to be very thankful to Krishna for making us um, take birth at this particular time of the time period, and also coming in touch with the movement and with the disciples of Prabhupada. Otherwise, you imagine how wretched a life we have to lead. It's so difficult. And even within that also, as you said, right, getting the taste to relish Prabhupada's Vani, this ecstasy, transcendental ecstasy. So it's really amazing that we are all being brought together. But it's all the conventions, Prabhu. I remember I was reading Prabhupada's when Maharaj, when his own Gopal Krishna Maharaj was there in Srirangam, just that 1.5 days that he was there with us. Early morning he was doing the Aarti, Mangalarti and DT dressing and all that. So at that time, the personal servant, I and a few other devotees were only there with him, hardly anybody, because everybody else left to return to or they went to other different locations. So I and a few other handful of devotees only were there. So the personal servant of Maharaj insisted that or indicated that you please do the Guru Puja, Tulsi Aarti, everything. You just keep singing. Maharaj will do the dressing and all that. Then after that, immediately after that is over, after Guru Puja is over, he said, "No, if somebody has Bhagavatam, you read." Then immediately I brought my Bhagavatam book and I was sitting and reading. I thought I will read from Bhishmadev prayers. I thought I'll first chant the prayers and then come to the come to the translation purport. So I was reciting the verse, and then as I was going to the next verse, immediately Maharaj stopped and I said, "Read the purport also." And he said, "Don't skip the purport." And I said, "Yes, Maharaj, I will do." So I mean, so mindful that we should. These are all the things which are giving us so much faith in Prabhupada's words, especially the purports. No, so many people write so many things. Prabhu's Mataji. I have heard. I've read the different other Bhagavad Gitas also, where they will write their own things, but nothing. When all those things are put against the Bhaktivedanta purports now, they all just fade into oblivion. They just don't have any value. I mean, with all due respect to their commentaries now, nothing can equate to Prabhupada's transcendent purport. That's why we have to be very, very thankful and grateful to all these wonderful disciples of Prabhupada who are teaching us how it is important to read. One is writing. We can call Jai Prabhupada Ishri. But revealing that with that transcendental nectar, that the treasure hidden behind those Bhaktivedanta purports now, they had to practically show us that this is what it is. So we are thankful to all the wonderful Vaishnavas, our acharyas, our spiritual masters, and all the acharyas for that. Thank you so much for sharing that realization.
Prabhuji, can you please elaborate on why it is called Bhakti Vedanta purports?
Because the purports are not written by Prabhupada. His name is Bhaktivedanta Swami, but Bhaktivedanta, yeah, if it was written by him, he would have written Bhaktivedanta Swami purports.
Hmm.
It's not Bhaktivedanta Swami purport, it is Bhaktivedanta purports, because it is filled with both Bhakti and Vedanta.
Hmm.
It has the it has all that is required to nourish our bhakti and to grow our bhakti lata bija, and also it is not sentiment. It is with proper tattva, proper reasoning. That is why Prabhupada always said science of bhakti. You understand?
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
Vedanta means knowledge. Vedanta means knowledge, right? That knowledge which is taking us forward in bhakti. That is how we should see it.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
Nice
Thank you.
question, Mataji. Thank you. See, these questions only make us, realize the importance of this. So whenever we read it, we think that Prabhupada has written Bhaktivedanta purport, Bhaktivedanta purport. Okay, he is writing about himself. No, Bhaktivedanta purport means the purports which are filled with Bhakti and Vedanta. That is the important thing. See, there is a beautiful thing about the definition of Bhakti. I will tell you. Mataji, can you open Veda base 1 to 12? Maharaj made us, my Guru Maharaj made us learn this by heart. 1 to 12. Tat Satadana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Pashya Atmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. If you come down, the translation goes like this. The serious and inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that of the truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from Vedanta Shruti. Now, if you come down to the purport, there is one particular line which Maharaj made us by heart. This is about the beautiful definition of bhakti. If you come down a little bit further down, there will be devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge. Right? Go up a little bit in the first paragraph and it should come. In the first paragraph, devotional service which is no, there, just before that. No, before that, devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, right? That particular line is the definition, perfect definition. Maharaj said definition of bhakti. Devotional service which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, is the only perfect method by which a seriously inquisitive student can realize the absolute. It's such a beautiful line. This devotional service is there. Full foreground of full knowledge is there, and also it should be combined with detachment from material association and fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. And Maharaj used to say, within brackets, after Vedanta Shruti, we should write, that is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Otherwise, anything and everything will say it is Vedanta. No. So he said, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association. Devotional service, Maharaj used to say, suppose you have a house, right? If that house does not have a proper nice foreground, it will not look very nice. You understand? You get me? If you have a nice house, but it's in front of it, surrounding it, and all, you have nice trees, nice lawn, nice garden, and all those things, you keep it, looks so beautiful, isn't it? It looks even more, what you call, even more beautiful. But you just, nowadays, it's just a house and just come out of it, the street is there. Are so close to each other that from this house you can just jump to the next house like that, right? So this is it doesn't really look beautiful, but foreground the full knowledge. When the knowledge is there, even now, even as far as also, you go and share devotional service, which proper reasoning, people appreciate it, isn't it? And so that knowledge you gather by oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. That's a beautiful thing. And it has to be combined with detachment from material association. Because when the detachment from material association is not there, it is like that boat with the anchor. They are riding the boat with the anchor. Right? So that should not be there. So that is why these two things, the devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and it is fixed, even though it is detachment, material association detached, it may come back again. So in order to stop that from coming back again, that the waves go and come back again, no, like that, the detachment will go and come back again. It will be detached, but again the object comes, it will be again attached to it. So for that, we need to fix ourselves in the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. And that is the only perfect method by which is seriously inquisitive. Shraddhadana Munayo, seriously inquisitive student. We are all seriously inquisitive student, but we are all struggling with these attachments and this and that. So these three things are very important. Based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta. That is the best way to only perfect method. There is no flaw in it at all. Perfect method by which we can realize the absolute. At the end of the day, devotional service means realizing the absolute truth. The science of self-realization.
Prabhuji, just wanted to
Yes, Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu. Which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. So does this, in this line, does this mean that the foreground of full knowledge, that the full knowledge is obtained by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti? Is that right, Prabhu? Is my understanding right?
No, Prabhu. See, devotional service. This is devotional service. Overall, everything is called devotional service. Anything after that comma is coming, everything is put into one packet that is called the devotional service. And that devotional service has these three qualities. One is, it is based on the foreground of full knowledge. Full knowledge has to be there. Second is, it has to be combined with, all these are angas of devotional service, Prabhu, pure devotional service. You understand? So first thing is foreground of full knowledge. Second thing is detachment from material association. And third thing is that devotional service is fixed by the oral reception, not the knowledge or the detachment. The devotional service is fixed. But in that devotional service, these things are part. You understand? Otherwise, our devotional service is here where one day I do, one day I don't do. So it is not consistent. It is not fixed. Right? So otherwise it will be just be varying. So you have to fix it by the oral reception. Every single day when we keep doing the oral reception of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and like we are hearing in, whenever we read Prabhupada's books, we see how many slokas we read. We read that 7th canto slokas, Prahlad Maharaj slokas. Now we are reading this, isn't it? So these are the three aspects of angas of devotional service, pure devotional service. And that devotional service in which these three things are part of, that will enable us to realize the absolute truth. As a serious student, we can realize the absolute truth. Got it, Prabhu?
Prabhu, just one more. Yes, Prabhuji. Just one more thing. What does this full knowledge means, Prabhuji?
Full knowledge, that's a beautiful question. So full knowledge means it's not about knowing all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. It's not like that. Full knowledge means complete understanding of, complete conviction that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and I am his servant. And all others are part and parcel of Krishna. Everybody is, I am related to everybody, and you can see Krishna in everybody. That's all. Like the, what you call that, Srirangam, that Brahmana, that illiterate Brahmana was trying to read Bhagavad Gita, right? Chaitanya Prabhu said, you know the essence of it, right? So full knowledge means the essence, basically. So with that, like how Kishore Das Babaji is illiterate, but you can see how he will quote verse here and there everywhere. So it's not the number of slokas you know, or you recite, or you remember, or whatever, quote or whatever, but you have to realize it. That is the important thing. Full knowledge has to be there. Very beautiful, Prabhu. I'm really so proud that devotees are doing the, where is our Swapna Mataji is there? I don't know. She's there, yeah. That we do the bisecting, trisecting, etc., etc. Actually, it is, that's how it should be done. You know, yesterday, my God, I was remembering Mataji for one particular thing. I was telling, no, like in your medical field, you have to cut this way, that way, and also that. Yesterday, the one rat was dead in our house, and it got stuck in the door, between the door closing thing. So half of it was outside. It got stuck in between the closing the door, the gap, no, the small gap in the near the hinge, that key you call it. So you try to take it out. It is neither coming this way, that way. It was already dead. And I felt so painful to take it out that I can't cut it or anything. Long back, when my school days, I used to do that, but it was so difficult. And then I felt how Mataji was doing in her medical her subjects and all. She might have definitely cut some frogs and rats and all that.
Prabhuji, humans.
Humans also, right? Humans also. My God, I don't know. Thank God, I just went into engineering field. It's so difficult to even cut
Prabhuji,
a dead rat. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I got a question.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I was telling is that I'm happy to bisect and trisect Prabhupada's words. Not these living entities. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What you told today, I got a question yesterday that when we read Prabhupada's purports, it becomes intellectual sometimes and the realizations take a backseat, or we are not able to do that. So, Prabhuji, how to get over it?
Well, we have to always see that intellectual thing comes, it supersedes the other aspects when we start subtly becoming proud that with my knowledge I am getting it. I am
Yes,
capturing
Prabhuji.
it.
Yes,
That is
Prabhuji.
where we tend to become too technical, too intellectual and technical, and we are appreciating ourselves. Understand? Like you pat your back.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay,
You know,
Prabhuji.
hey, I got it, kind of. See, nice, I got it. Thanks to my intelligence. If somebody glorifies our intelligence, we become happy. So that is a subtle maya that comes in between. So we need to be conscious of this thing. Whenever we are patting our back, if instead of patting here, you can pat here, little forcefully. In other words, slap, right? Man fool.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are not doing it. It is Acharyas, it's only Prabhupada's mercy that we can even understand these things. If you are all not here, how would we be having these questions and discussing these points? Alone, when I'm sitting and reading, I would not have referred to this thing. Maharaj made us learn it by heart so much. So many times he would ask us to repeat it, and he would take a whole class on this one line only. So, how did it? How could this thing be revealed without the devotee association? So every moment trying to be, we may not be, every moment we may not be able to be grateful, but as much as possible, when we bring that gratitude into effect, then this intellectual, but being proud of our intellectual thing will recede to the back seat.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji, got it. Thank you. Thank
And
you
we are
so much.
nothing. Who are we? Humility and gratitude. Humility, we are nothing. We are not one to learn these things. As I told you, every time consciously we realize that hey, it's because this devotee is asking question or sharing some nice point, which is triggers my point. So without other devotees, the Krishna hidden inside our knowledge, our heart will not come outside.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The only thing we did was we agreed to join the Sangha. Okay, today this class is going on. Okay, let me join. That's all. We don't
Yes,
mind a few minutes here and there going
yes,
on. Right? So that is the
yes,
thing.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So always be watchful. That intellectual means we start looking into this thing and trying to say, okay, refer this verse, refer that verse. Without digesting that entire verse, we are trying to go to other things. So it's like more like a restless child running around for different types of toys and things, right? So aswadanam, we should do the aswadanam of the Quran.
Yes,
Even if you read little bit, be satisfied with it.
yes, Prabhuji, you are totally right. What is happening? Initially, I used to do only 1 to 2 shlokas, but now I want to go ahead
Mm.
and see what's are there ahead,
Mm.
and understand that and relish that.
Yeah,
So now it is running is there. So I got my mistake. I'll correct it. Yes,
That
Prabhuji.
running
Thank you.
thing, initially, first time when you are doing also, it's a bit okay, because first time when you are reading Bhagavatam, you may want to, you have that enthusiasm of a child and you may want to do it. But when you do as you go along, it will slow down automatically whenever you encounter nice shlokas, whatever. But yeah, that's why Maharaj insisted. He instructed me after I completed my first round. Maharaj said, what you did was running reading. Now you go more deeper and slower. So that will happen. See, the beauty with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita and all, no, all our purpose books, no. Once you read it, you will not want to keep it aside and go to the next one. You would want to go back and start all over again. So that's sweetness. Thank you so
Yes,
much for this.
Babuji, what I feel, okay, we need your injection once a week. So that keeps us very much grounded, and we understand that we are nowhere. So
No,
I'm telling
I am
about
also
myself. Yeah.
nowhere. I am also nowhere. We all have to come together to, take each other's help. Sorry, Prabhupada. So nice of you. I'm just traveling. That's why I'm a bit
Great, sir.
thing, but and
Thank you,
moreover
Babuji.
work and all that. But personally speaking, I would like to keep one evening, weekday evening for Prabhupada's thing and weekend for Narad Muni. Unfortunately, Narad Muni is playing a game with us. Is not giving us the weekend. So and you are going a little ahead in that same chapter and asking questions. I keep thinking, my God, we are a little behind, and she is asking all these questions which we wanted to discuss. No, telling later, when don't worry, don't stop the question, asking questions. You please continue to ask questions. Yeah, this is how it is. Very beautiful the way you are reading in between the lines and asking those wonderful questions.
Babuji,
Please
I need
continue.
slaps. Babuji, I need slaps.
No, no, it was so sweet of you, Mataji, to ask these questions. And nice realization shared here. I'm so happy that in the middle of all the uh, crazy things happening at work, I could spend some good time with you all after a long time. So we'll connect again, Krishna willing, this Saturday for Narad Muni, relishing Narad Muni. So stop here. Thank you so much. Sorry to extend a little bit more.
Hare Krishna,
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
From screen that slide has been removed, where you have given the definition of three things in devotional service. One was based on the foreground of full knowledge, detachment from material association, and fixed in oral reception. I was relating it with Narad Muni case only. When Narad Muni mother was bitten by snake, so he has applied this, that matlab, they all are already Parsad, Narad Muni, Haridas Thakur, or Amrish Maharaj, which we have read before this. But this thing we are seeing that they are based on foreground of full knowledge.
Now, what
And
is that full knowledge, Prabhu? Do you remember what is that full knowledge?
That
Only one line. I told you in the class. So beautifully you brought it. Only one line. Ishasya hi vasheloko yosha darumai yatha. That is the full knowledge.
and again then
Like
detachment from
everything is under Krishna's control, and we are like puppets in his hand. That's the foreground of full knowledge. And that led to detachment from material association.
material association.
And it was fixed because he heard the oral deception from
Yes,
the
the
Veda
initiation
from
that
the
he
sages.
received from them.
From the sages. See how beautiful. This is why we need the association, Prabhu. And you really immediately triggered that Narad Muni, and immediately that thought, because Maharaj told us that one line, if you can put it into practice, you have put into practice the entire Bhagavad. Ishasya hi vasholaka yosha darumayatha. They're all just like puppets in the hands of the Supreme Puppeteer. Everybody is under the control of the Supreme Lord. That's all we should. That's the effect. That encompasses everything, all the aspects of devotion. Sir.
That's why
Thank you,
Prabhuji, they were able to realize the absolute truth. Now suppose like Haridas Thakur, that
Yeah.
Maya Devi herself came to test her, and in that
Yeah.
situation also Haridas Thakur was focused on chanting. Like we are normal person, but still we after practicing so much we get carried away. But or as you have told in Amrish Maharaj episode that sword came up to his neck, but he didn't move even an inch back.
Yeah.
Because he was also in the foreground of full knowledge and having no detached from material action. That's why he could do like this. So devotional service means these three things we have to apply.
This
Then only
line, this line can be applied to all the successful pure devotees. There, everybody will. I mean, this can be applied to all of them. You can apply to Arjuna, you can apply to Prahlad Maharaj, you can apply to Dhruva Maharaj, everybody.
then you have to take class for all the things. We have heard Dhruv Maharaj, we have heard Amrish Maharaj from you. Now we are hearing Narad Muni and Tamaga. So what we have heard from you, we can relate to that only. So you have to cover each episode.
Bhagavatam is so sweet. Anybody who distributes that sweet, they will be glorified. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate all your wonderful realizations. Hare Krishna. So please continue. I have to get to an office call now. So we'll catch up on Saturday. Krishna will then to the short time 10:30. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Madhupati Vaishnava ki jai.
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 Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Yo,
Vaishnavabhyo
Vaishnavabhyo, Namo Namaha.
Hari 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 Bo. All glories to all the Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.